verse that I clung to a lot was Philippians, do not be anxious for anything, but in everything by prayer and petition, present your requests before the Lord, and the peace that passes all understanding will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. That was one I definitely clung through the entire process, was not to be anxious and not to be worried, especially when the IRS is hounding down your door. I guess to start with, I was in really, really bad debt. And thankfully, I guess it was January of 2008 that we did the Financial Freedom Series, which was very, very well timed, because I knew that I was sinking under pretty fast and I didn't know how to get out. I didn't have any tools for getting out. It took me from January to July to really implement it because I was very scared to sit down and actually realize the full amount of what I owed. And in July of 2008, I owed $37,400. And I didn't know how in the world I was going to repay it. The worst part is who I owed. I actually owed the IRS. I'd gotten behind in taxes. And I finally contacted the IRS, and they put my account on hold for 1 month and told me that basically if I didn't come up with enough to get it below $25,000 in that 1 month, that they were going to put a lien on me. And during this time, basically, for an entire month, I didn't eat or sleep, which was kind of funny because people were complimenting me on losing weight. They only knew. The first thing that hit me when we did the financial freedom, the thing that hit me the strongest was realizing that the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. It's all God's. I had very foolishly categorized that in my head to mean that, oh, it's the earth, nature, basically. It's the earth, the grass, the trees. Yeah, that's God's, but my money's my money. My house is my house. My car is my car, and thinking that I actually own things that I don't own. And realizing, I think what really drove me to be aggressive about this was realizing how horrible I had been in handling the things that God has entrusted me with. That realization that it's not mine really was the turning point that really, that made the difference. Down one night I couldn't sleep, so about 3 o'clock in the morning I was writing out my budget, what I needed to make and what I needed to do. And in my line of work, you know, work is not guaranteed. So that was definitely a very scary factor. And all of it kind of hit about the time that everything bottomed out, and business was down a little bit, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And I mean, during that time, I just really prayed and sought God, and like, what do I do? And I needed Him to get me out of this. Which is funny, I needed Him to get me out of it, but knew it wasn't going to be like winning a lottery or anything. Like, it had to require change on my part. So I had heard about the Dave Ramsey, like the cash flow system, and doing the envelopes and everything. I haven't gone through the entire Dave Ramsey process, but I thought, okay, that's a good place to start because it'll make me set up my budget. It'll make me, you know, spend only what I can, and when the cash is done, you're done. So I started implementing that and just started working and just started seeking God, and it's really been amazing what all has transpired in the past year and a half. I managed to get the IRS portion paid off, I think, November of last year. As I sit now, I only owe $3,000. So that's basically $34,000 in roughly a year and a half, which in and of itself is a complete miracle. And really, that's been the enjoy the entire time, is that I never stopped giving. That was a big, like, I felt like that was the deal God was wanting me to do, was to give. That came first off my bills. When I would sit down, the check to God came first, and everything else came after that. And so that is one area God does say to test Him in, so I took God to the test, and I was like, okay. And I kind of looked at it logically. I've never heard anybody say I started tithing and went to the poorhouse. And I really think if that were true and that happened, that the church or God would be the first thing people would blame. So I kind of took that as that's what I needed to do. So it's been nice to be able to give, but I definitely would like to be able to give more. We do have the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University that is coming up to be offered soon in our church, and it is a system that does work. I mean, it not only gets you out of debt for now, even though it is an investment to start with, it actually sets you up for financial security in the future, and it teaches you how to manage money, how to be a good steward, how to not be foolish with it. But I do feel like I've run for a very long time, and I am very tired of running, and I'm very excited about the future. I'm very excited about the Dave Ramsey class and just what I can do with what God has entrusted me with.